Hey y'all, what's up? It's Lone Wolf. So I'm doing a season 3 interlude video. It's kind of dark, but it's probably like 1 in the morning. I got tie rod ends to do on my own Jeep in the morning. I just couldn't sleep. I decided to go for a cigar. Okay, so I've been dealing with a whole lot. Okay, this is a interlude for season 3, kind of a break within Revelation. Tonight I read John 1 through 10, and I read I think it was Lamentations and Deuteronomy within like the last 3 days. So I got a pretty big hedge up, and I'm still getting hit with witchcraft. Okay, so I've had this person that does witchcraft on me relentlessly. Okay, well, there's multiple people, but there's this one in particular that I'm stuck in a living situation with. It isn't my girlfriend, so we're not going to go into personal dynamics, none of that stuff, okay? But I decided to use it as an example tonight. A lot of people that do things to me, I use them as examples on my ministry page so I can teach other people, okay? So what I've had is, if you have a roommate, okay, we're going to say that this is a roommate situation, and you're a Christian, you're in your walk, and you're in a living situation you can't get out of, but this person keeps on doing dark attacks on you, okay? Keeps on doing witchcraft. It might be voodoo. Personally, I've been getting spirit swipes, demons cast at me. Person's on the dark web all the time, okay? And well, I saw this person go from a somewhat kind of healthy mental state to a completely declining mental state on medication and a whole bunch of stuff, okay? So what I went through tonight is I noticed if you put up a hedge against somebody like this, okay, this person ended up putting some sort of a cursed type of item or like a stack of tarot cards at the edge of the wall somewhere. So it put like it tried to maneuver my hedge around them, and I wasn't trying to hit them with a hedge particularly, okay? My goal was just simply self-defense, but I'm mainly reading the Bible because I'm doing my ministry. So I'm doing books, I'm doing, you know, all this stuff. I'm trying to figure out where Revelations connects to John, which I actually did find out some monumental stuff that'll be in the next episode. Regardless, okay? If you're getting hit with witchcraft and you get hit with a swipe, you're gonna know you're gonna know based upon your hedge or whatever's going on how effective that was, okay? So one thing I did was I studied my enemies. So don't go studying witchcraft per se, but by experience you can gain information on it, okay? So what I had was a while ago I was getting swiped pretty bad. I didn't have any hedges up, I didn't have anything up. I was just simply going, you know, through what God wanted me to do here, and I got swiped a lot by a lot of people, okay? And it's so what I found was that I had, I mean, I've got a hedge of Deuteronomy, Lamentations, and John, Revelations, a whole bunch of hedges up, and this person was still sending me witchcraft. It wasn't hitting me and affecting me, but I could tell it was being done to me. I could tell it was hitting my hedge. And I was like, okay, so this is kind of how things are going to go. I've watched a steady decline of the person too, which isn't something I'm going yip yip yippee about. It's more sad on my end, where I'm kind of just like, this really sucks, because, well, you know, people, to see this, you know, happen to people when they completely self-destruct and they go all out on you. And I've noticed that with people that do witchcraft or voodoo or black arts or something, that they will continually do this until they hit the floor. They will do it until they don't even have a door on them. They're just paddling out there and they sink, bro. And it can happen multiple times, okay? In different ways. If you put up a hedge, someone may try and put a set of tarot cards between you guys so that your hedge doesn't hit them. My neighbors do this too, that when I put up a hedge, they do something, generally it's something like tarot cards or some sort of thing that they use, that maybe a sage bowl, something like that, I don't know, but that they put in between you and them through the wall so your hedge kind of moves around it, okay? And it's kind of a weird thing that I saw tonight that I was like, oh, what's up with that, okay? And personally, I don't really care. If you're doing witchcraft, that's on you. You're going to probably die from it, either spiritually or physically, maybe both, I don't know, okay? So the way I saw it was, through your experience in your walk, you will notice people that do dark arts, that are from the dark, that practice witchcraft, they will do certain things to try and combat your hedge, and it's not really a smart deal. I had some certain people that were swiping me when I had a hedge up, and it kind of made them like mentally ill. Like it screws with people's minds when they do that. But when I'm talking about levels of protection, okay, so if I went in there with no hedge, I just came from this situation. So I just walked out of there and was like, I'm going to go do a video. I'm going to go buy a little bourbon cigar and talk about this really quick, okay? And this is my interlude video. So probably 2 of them for season 3, maybe 3. But you'll notice that my interlude videos are very maybe spiritual talks, but they're also like real life situations that I'm dealing with that I can give help to people, okay? So if someone's doing witchcraft on you and they're casting mimics at you, they're casting spells, they're doing this, that, put up a hedge. That's your first thing you need to do. Start reading Matthew, Luke, John, Mark. You need to start reading with those first, okay? Why? Because that's the most powerful base hedge you're going to get. You're going to get, I would go with Matthew and then John. John is more of like a blanket hedge, where if you build a hedge of Matthew, okay, you're going to have a very solid, strong hedge that's impenetrable, okay? Be sure that you do not sin while you have that hedge up, or it will decrease or go away. There are certain things that you can do that if you do it and you have a hedge up, that hedge is immediately taken from you, okay? And that's kind of like the lampstand and the lamp thing. It can get, God can take it from you, okay? If you're sinning, you can repent for it, but you have to go and read again and build the hedge again, okay? That's at least from what I've seen, okay, what I've experienced. Have I sinned and then had that situation? I've had one experience where that did happen to me, okay? And I was like, okay, so if this happens, you just don't, you need to walk as narrow as you can, okay? So a hedge is the most important thing you can have up when you're in some sort of spiritual combat, when realistically you're not really in combat, you're just kind of there. A lot of the mistakes that people make is when they get hit with witchcraft, they return it with witchcraft. That's not smart, okay? I don't do witchcraft, I've never done that before, but I can tell you right now, just based upon what I've experienced, I haven't experienced doing witchcraft. I don't even know how to do it. I don't understand it. It sounds stupid to me. But the most important thing you can do is put up a hedge. It's protection, okay? But you will notice that you may be laying there at 1 in the morning and you're getting, your hedge is being tapped with all this stuff and it's keeping you awake. You're la. People will also curse items, okay? So they will attach a hex to items or curses to items, and they will cast stuff through it to try and keep you, they'll try and make you lose your mind, okay? And that's what I saw on the other side, was the other person is losing their mind, okay? And it's one of those things where I'm like, I gotta get the hell out of here. And that's basically my plan, is I'm getting out of here. I'm pretty much done with what God wants me to do here. I'm just finishing up some of the editing on like 3 Cats in Chip City. That's, you know, one of my more spiritual, not really spiritual books, but fiction comedy books, okay? So I'm finishing that, and I'm pretty much out of here. I don't really have anything left to do. God kind of just directed me, here, do this, and this, and okay, keep going. Like, I have somewhere else to be, okay? Which maybe might impact my business too, but hey. Back to the gravy of it, okay? So if you have a hedge up, you will notice that different books of the Bible will provide you with different hedges. John is more of a blanket hedge. You'll notice that books like James, the book of James is like this lightning strike hedge, where if somebody hits you, like, it's almost like they get zapped, okay? There's certain things in those books that you read them and it substantially builds your hedges. So like, I read a bunch of John tonight, and the reason why I read John, it's an effective hedge, but I had Deuteronomy, so I had armor on, bro. I had armor on before this even like went down tonight. And it'll happen on and off, but it's based on the person's mental health, okay? And I noticed that if you'll see that certain people, some days you may be friends with somebody and they don't do any witchcraft on you at all, and their mental health is pretty good, and you're like, okay, what's up with that? And then like the next day they're just off the rails doing that. If they're on medication, this can affect that, okay? People that have mental illnesses that are also doing witchcraft, but are how do I say this, in the occult, that type of thing, you're going to notice that they're very like hot and cold with it. Like, they're just kind of all over the place, and you're like, well, what's going on? Somebody who's like determined to just make you suffer or attack you, they'll do it constantly, okay? And I had everything thrown at me in this town. This town I'm in, I had everything thrown at me, bro. So it was kind of a training grounds for me, where God was like, okay, you need to learn how to do this, this, and this, and this. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. Okay, I figured it out. Life example I'm going to use, okay? That I went out today and I went and bought a torch, okay? And I bought it, and it's because I tried to take my tie rod ends off my Jeep, and I could not get them off the adjuster sleeve. I could not get them off, okay? I tried hard. So I bought this torch, and things have been cool between me and this person for a while, so I'm like, okay, well, I'm not really worried. It looks like he stopped doing it. And the person cast a spell over the torch itself when I was right in front of him, and I was showing him, I was like, check out this torch I just got. And they casted a spell over it directly. And I watched them mouth the words, and with intent send it. And from there, I had stupid spells on it like Charizard, where I was like, you put a Charizard spell over my damn torch. Like, hold on a second, okay? Like, that's something I'm like, you don't do that. That's not very smart, okay? So I saw, it was almost like it was a possession, where I was like, okay, you just mouth these words, and then this happened, and now there's little spells over like they opened up a demonic transmission on the item to cast spells and stack it. And that's what they will do, is they will open up a demonic transmission over an item that you have, and they will stack it. If you have this happen to you, okay, there's multiple ways to deal with this, okay. The first thing that I tell people to do is build a hedge, and you're probably still going to see it, but it won't affect you as much, okay? It won't be so in your face. But what I tell people to do, build a hedge, take the item, go and set it down in a cemetery, and pick it up and throw it back in your car. If somebody has cursed you or has hexed you, go do the same thing, but build a hedge first. You want to go visit holy grounds, and that isn't just a cemetery. Go to church, bro. Like, church is probably the most effective, because the church is like a infinite hedge that they provide you with. When you show up, you will build a hedge at church. So church is it's a number one for me, that I would say go to church, because you learn something too. But if you don't have time and it's like Thursday and you're getting hit with all this stuff, go to a cemetery and just go walk around and value God's creation of the earth and the trees and everything around you. But just be grateful and have gratitude just by looking at, you know, the people that have passed away that are in there. You know, pray for people. Go and take some time alone to reflect on yourself. And that's what I do when I have people cast witchcraft on me. I just go to the cemetery, because a lot of times I do my own ministry, so I have very little time on Saturdays or Sundays to go to church. And that's really, it's not, I grew up going to church my whole life, okay? When I was younger, I went to church all the time when I was younger. As I got older, I went into my career. I didn't have enough time, because I worked Sundays, I worked this. I fell out of the church group, okay? Try and get this in here real quick. So here, I don't really have a solid church that I go to. I know of churches, but I also had a point where I got hit with a satanic attack, where somebody actually cast the devil at me. And it was before right when my walk started, okay? And I tried to get in touch with a pastor to get baptized. And he asked me to go out with him to get a beer. And it was to talk with him and, you know, become part of the church first. And I mean, I was in an emergency where I had to self-deliver and self-baptize. And so I had kind of like a sour taste in my mouth for churches in this town, but they're still good, okay? Like, they're still good. It was more of miscommunication. I explained the situation, but he didn't really take it as seriously as I thought he should have. I thought they just gave out baptisms here. I didn't know it was a thing. You had to be a part of the church. So for me, if you have witchcraft done on you, okay, you need to go and build a hedge, even if it's like an hour or two out of your time to read Matthew 1 through 10 or John 1 through 10 or Luke 1 through 10. Read Jesus' story first, and you'll start to understand how hedges are built. The more questions you ask about your own life and more application you put towards it, the bigger your hedge will get, okay? And you want to make sure you have an effective hedge. Don't just read Matthew 1 and 2 and, okay, I built a hedge. It's not... In the beginning, you may see there's a significant difference, but it's not like what you think, okay? So if you read the whole book of Matthew and then you have somebody doing witchcraft on you, you will not feel the effects of their spells and what they're doing as impactful, okay? So it will hit your hedge, but it'll generally bounce right off, or you just rebuke it out, or you can just keep reading the book, and it'll just... basically, as you build your hedge, you'll just throw the witchcraft out of your hedge. A lot of people will be like, well, I don't understand this and this and that. And it's like, well, if you're going through serious attacks, you will understand if you read the book, if you read the Bible, okay? And a lot of people I've seen, they read Genesis and they read Revelations, and they just try and make their own guesses on it, and that's it. You need to read the story of Jesus. You read the story of Jesus, you will see that the hedge will work, okay? So what I also had here was people doing witchcraft over my own car. There was people that were driving past me and doing witchcraft like on my car, okay? And so it was one thing I was like, okay, like, you're sending intentful spells at my vehicle, which was this is the only place I've ever seen this in my life, okay? Was people that would actually go that far. This one here, though, living where I'm at and dealing with it's been more than one person, but one specific situation. It's been extremely a daily battle, a nightly battle, where I'm constantly in the Word, or when that person's gone, things are a lot easier. It's harder because they load the room, and they load things, and they load items. Some people will curse stuff that you have in order to, like, spiritually claim it. People are very strange, okay? Very, very, very strange animals. But I used to get pretty mad, okay, when people would do witchcraft on me. Now it's like, okay, I already have a hedge. Like, I already decided I'm always going to have a hedge up. No matter where I go, no matter what I do, I'm going to have at least Matthew 1 through 5. like at the very minimum. And my thing is the hedges last a certain amount of time, so you're supposed to maintain them. That's what you need to do. It's if you build a hedge, you maintain it, so you keep reading. Okay, so you read 1 through 5 today, and you read 5 through 10 tomorrow, and you read, next book 1 through 5, 5 through 10, and you're reading this and this and this and this and finishing books in order to build these hedges to set them. Once these hedges set, they're very effective, and you just sit there and you let them set. You just meditate on the word, and you even pray. If you pray, they'll set very well. So hedges are a certain thing where people may say this or that or this or that. Like, I would say I'm a big advocate for, if you're out here in your walk, especially if you have converted to Jesus Christ and everybody's trying to crucify you and do all this crazy stuff to you spiritually, that you build hedges and you keep them around you. If you don't, you will get hit by the dark. You will get hit by people doing witchcraft, black magic, voodoo. They will do it to you, dude. People do it all the time. They've got their tarot cards, they got their stuff, they're doing crazy stuff, okay? This place has like an overabundance of psychics and people that do witchcraft here. I'm just like, I don't get y'all. Like, and the thing is, I'm walking in the light where I'm not really attacking anybody. So I'm not deliberately walking around and rebuking every single person around me, bro. My thing is, and I'm not outwardly, calling them lukewarm or doing this. I'm not doing any of that. Simply speaking, all I'm really doing is just putting up a hedge of protection because people like see it fit to like attack me. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm already past this part in Revelation that I found where it's like, if people keep attacking you while you're in the spirit and your flesh has already been like crucified off of you and you sacrificed it off of you at the same time, you're going to notice if people do that at that point when you're already in the spirit and people attack you like that, there is like detrimental consequences to the human mind spiritually. That people go through serious spiritual issues where they start, they got to take medication because they have psychosis, or they have like, I've seen it. This town, it happened to a lot of people where I was like, whoa, you already did that, like already, pushed me to the edge where I'm not even who I used to be. Like, my flesh is on the ground, bro. Like, you can clearly see you did this to me. And then they kept going, and it was like, okay, well, the more they kept going, the worse it got. I had one dude that hexed me, that he would drive past my place and he would hex me if I was outside working on the car, and he hexed me. After that, never again did that dude hex me or do anything to me. That was where he called it quits, where he was like, no way, like something just happened to me that wasn't good, okay? It wasn't good. And God will give you little glimpses of what's going to happen, and it's not pretty, okay? And sometimes God will show you what's going to happen because he wants you to see what the consequences of that are, so that when you see somebody do it again, you're already like, okay, I know, like, I'm just here, bro. Like, that's it. So you're going to see people are going to do things to you. Hedges are the number one thing I will say, okay? You have to do hedges, bro. You have to keep reading the Bible. You have to keep applying the word to your life and keep building that light and filling your lamp with oil, okay? Essentially, that's how I see a hedge, okay? Is when it talks about in the parables of having, I think it's the 10 virgins and the lamps. I can't remember exactly which parable it was. I gotta look back on it. But there's a parable about having oil in your lamp, because if you don't, well, you can't see nothing, okay? That's how hedges operate too. They help you see things. So they help you see things in the dark. See, a hedge can help you with your discernment, where you can read the spirit of somebody a lot easier if you have a hedge and oil in your lamp than if you didn't, okay? So this is kind of like the hedge interlude, like maybe basic 101, okay? And I'm not saying I know everything about it. The church knows a heck of a lot more than I do. Pastors know a lot more than I do. I'm just telling you what I know from my experience, okay? I didn't have anybody teach me but God, okay? So, what does a hedge do? It provides you with a level of protection from dark attacks and psychic attacks, and a lot of people will do this thing where they have a stone, or they have a protection amulet, or they have obsidian, okay? Now, I have cultural beliefs that are from my native roots, okay? About like arrowheads, that type of thing. But that's down your cultural boundary stone, okay? And my thing is, personally, and cultural boundary stone can also be something that's boundary, like perimeter for a property, okay? I've already talked about that within my podcast. But what I'm talking about right now, okay, is don't lean on, you want to lean on Jesus before anything. So if you have cultural beliefs where you wear arrowheads and that's your cultural belief, I'm not going to say that that's a bad thing, but I am saying that you should lean on your hedge first, okay? Like, your hedge should be number one, okay? you need to lean on Jesus first, because Jesus is the ultimate tap of divine. He will give you what you need. He will help you with what you need. And it's one of those things where, like, as we speak right now, I'm actually having stuff sent my way from that very person. Like, they stay up all night and all day, and they do it in their room. Like, this is how crazy this has gotten, okay? And for me, it's personally like, well, if you want to keep going, you can keep getting smoke from God, because all I'm doing is just building hedges. So they will load your hedge with spell work. This is another thing I've noticed. You can build a gigantic hedge, and somebody could take all their time and effort and energy and try and fill your hedge with as much darkness as they possibly can. Rebuke any darkness out of your hedge, and you have the choice to return it to sender or you don't. What's the difference between returning it to sender and not? Okay, if you have a hedge of John up, this, I'm telling you, the book of John, it's my favorite book, and there's a reason why. Okay, the blanket hedge, if you have a Matthew hedge and you have a John hedge, you will return that, but that impact of sending that spell work back to somebody, it's brutal. Okay, I saw it on people where I was like, okay, I got a Matthew hedge, but I'm returning stuff. I was just sending it back. John is like, you are like throwing that way, like it's like throwing it at speed of light at him, bro. Like, it cut like knives, bro. Like, I'm not playing with you. It cuts like knives. And my thing is, the reason why I like the book of John is because if I have Matthew and John and somebody sends something at me and I return it, I never get hit again. Well, I'm not going to say never, because there's people that did some pretty foolish stuff. Like, they kept going. There's people that kept going all the way down, and they had mental health crises and issues going on. It was bad, okay? So for me, the reason why I like that hedge is because it's a nice warning shot if you send it back. Personally, you can just rebuke it and let the Lord deal with it, okay? The Lord will deal with all of it. I mean, he's the ultimate judge. He will deal with all of it, okay? But one thing I do is stack your hedges. So if you end up reading, say, Matthew, and you're like, I just need something that's going to help me out, okay? Something that's going to help me out that's powerful. Dig through dig through Psalms. If you dig through Psalms, there's a prayer for protection. There's different things that were written by David in there that are very effective. They're very effective. Especially if you already have a hedge up and people are hitting you with it, and you pray something that David wrote like that, and you read that scripture, and you meditate over it, and you're like, you know what, this was really helpful. This is why, like, you can see the impact in your life where you're like, okay, I'm not getting hit with all this stuff. Like, this ain't so bad, okay? Use Psalms to your advantage, okay? Use Psalms to your advantage. Why? It's not a very thick and powerful hedge like Matthew. It's different. But the hedge of Psalms, they have different things in there that David wrote, things that Solomon have put down, that they will give you a hedge. It'll give you even just a short burst of light to tell someone, hey, you need to back off, okay? And that was one thing I actually started doing for a while when I was stripped for time. Like, I had to be up at like 7 in the morning, and it's freaking 2:30 in the morning. I'm getting just smashed with spell work over and over, attached to items, and then it's like, dude, I have to sleep. I got to be up for work in the morning. So for me, it was like I could read a couple of Psalms, a couple chapters out of Psalms, and I actually felt pretty good where I was like, okay, things would bounce off, and it would either hit him or do whatever, hit them, whoever was doing it. It would hit him, or it would just bounce right off, and I didn't have to worry about it. And would I say it's as effective as reading Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John? Yes and no, okay? It's just different, okay? It's just different. So hedges are a big deal when you're dealing with spiritual combat. Getting your armor on, if you read Deuteronomy, I noticed I read Deuteronomy, and I felt like I had armor on, bro. Like, I was just like, I had head to toe, I was doing all right. Like, I was doing good. I was like, well, what's going on there? Because I feel pretty freaking good right now. So this is where it comes back to Revelation when I read this thing about the double-edged sword, okay? Is your armor's on and you're doing really good and you're going through this, and literally everybody that you once knew crucified who you were, said all these things about you, and did all these things to you. You need to read that and realize what a double-edged sword is, because Jesus will use that double-edged sword through you to deal with the situation. And it's brutal. Like, I have people that got hit with the double-edged sword multiple times, and they still do it. And I'm like you're obviously not as effective, and I learned something from it, but bro, you got wrecked. Like, your whole life different. Spiritually, you are way different. Like, almost like you just died, bro, and you're walking around dead. Like, that's what I saw in my walk here, was like people would do it to me, but I had these certain hedges over me. And Revelations is something that I don't quite understand Revelations yet, bro. The reason why, okay, is when I read Revelations, I didn't really feel like I had a hedge, but it was almost like I couldn't really see it. It was almost like Revelations was like people that are doing it to you, you read it, and it's almost like a judgment to them immediately. I didn't really understand that. I'm still trying to understand it, but it was almost like you reading that and making that a part of your spirit is God is judging that person based upon his word, like through you or something. Very odd experience I had. To this day, I still don't really quite understand how that worked. But right now, that's been happening to me, where I've got hedges up, but I've got Revelations on me, and I'm like, okay, well, what's going on right now? I'm trying to figure that out. And not only am I meditating on it, but I'm interpreting it on video. So it's like I'm interpreting this here, so like I can understand, but other people can understand it, where they're looking at it going, I don't understand any of this. Like, you read Matthew, and you're like, well, this is it's easy to read. It was Jesus' life. It's kind of hard to understand when you have to meditate on the parables and the words that he said, and the examples, and he speaks in stories. But when you're reading Revelations, I mean, you got, horses and riders, and you've got scrolls, you got this, where you're like, what's going on? Like, you have to almost interpret it and apply it and connect it to everything else. It's a very strange thing. Very, very odd thing that I experienced. But there are small books, okay, that I would lean, and it's not just the New Testament. You go and you read some of the Old Testament, bro, and you realize that some of these hedges are pretty massive, okay? Like, I have always been a big advocate of the Matthew-John combo, okay? The Matthew-John combo, and then read Revelations. I'm not saying don't read Paul's testimony. I say that you should read Paul's testimony. And the reason is because there's certain things in there that'll make you kind of question things a little bit. Not like questioning God and his word, but you're questioning, like, okay, like, so this is what happened here, 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 and here. And Paul's testimony is something that you can, it hits home on you. Paul's testimony hits home on you because you look at that, and then you look at the application of your life, and you're like, well, Paul applied all this to his life too. It's almost like you see Paul as like your walk in a way. In a way, okay? I'm not saying that Paul had the same walk as you. I'm just saying, like, read Timothy too. Timothy is one that I'm like, Timothy's like brutal, bro. Like, not brutal towards you, but you read Timothy and you add that to your hedge, and it's like you add these things to it. Like, you have a concoction of hedges and books and wisdom in you that's on your spirit. As long as you don't sin, you can keep that there. So what is your motivation to not sin? It's to keep that hedge. I think that's important. I think that's an important thing that people should do. I'm going to give you an example. Say you're in your walk and you have a hedge up, okay, and you've been reading books, you've converted, you've done all this, and you're like, man, I really want to smoke pot. And you know that if you smoke pot, I actually don't know if that'll drop your hedge or not. I don't know. It might. I don't know. I'll use a different example. Pornography, okay? Say that you have a pornography problem, and you have a hedge up, and you're like, you know what? Girlfriend's out of town, I'll just sneak online and just watch this real quick. And it's like, it'll take somebody one mistake of doing something like that to realize that you went from a nice powerful hedge to you are bare naked, bro. Like, you are like I'm repentant. I repented for it. I'm reflecting on it, but I ain't got no hedge. I got no protection. Your motivation to not sin should be to keep that level of protection up too. So you're protected by God. If you sin to a degree that he sees it as despicable or just downright, it just, you can tell what bothers God. But that type of thing right there, it's like your motivation for that. Yes, you don't want to be trapped in sin like that. No way. You want to give up your sin. What's a motivation for that? To maintain your hedges so you don't keep getting pounded by other people. You have to protect yourself. So sinning while you have a hedge up, that's not good. It'll cause you to go back into an isolation where you're trying to build a hedge. Imagine being in isolation like I am right now, building hedges, but you constantly have somebody attacking you and swiping you and doing this and casting things and doing, like, it's outrageous, bro. You're not only are you building a hedge, but you in combat while you're building it. this has probably been the weirdest thing I've ever experienced, because for me before, like, I could go, say, like, to the edge of town, okay, and outside of town, and this person's not doing it, and I could build a hedge in an hour, but just by reading certain books of the Bible. I jump from Psalms to Matthew to John to here and there and there and there, and I know what does what. After a while, you figure it out. But imagine having to build all that while you're having it casted into it. You're actively building your hedge while stuff's being loaded into it. So you feel like you don't have any protection, but you also know that you do. So I had a certain point in time in my experience here where I had multiple people attacking me at once, okay, through items or direct cast. And I had this where it happened to me here where I was like all the way done with Matthew, just about, and I was still, people were loading it, and I'm like, it's literally just probably going right back to you, probably hitting you tenfold, because I'm building the hedge while you're sending it. That's probably one of the people here, there's my people here that I'm okay with. There's people here that I was like, y'all on something, like, you guys are on something, because you gotta be like, you gotta be kidding me, okay? You just gotta be kidding me. People from the dark can also tell when your hedge has dropped, because they will tap into your energy through their cards and through all that other shit, and they will see, does he have a hedge up or does he not? They will see it. They will see, does he have a hedge up or does he not? People can tell. They use Ouija boards, they use tarot cards, they use stuff like that, okay? It's not good. So they can tap into your energy and be able to tell, like, does he have light on him? Like, what's good? You can tell that they know, because I saw it. I've seen this before online too, where people talked about this, where if your hedge drops, this is an example. I think that hedges last about 30 days. I think that's about where it's at, because I've noticed that if you don't maintain your hedge within 30 days, it's going to get weak enough that you're going to have to do it all over again. I say read the Bible every day, bro. You wake up for work, and you got an hour before you got to be at work, and 30 minutes of free time, you got a cup of coffee, bust out the Bible and read 2 or 3 pages. You'll build yourself a hedge. You are weightless. You are featherless. When you have a full hedge up that's set, that's strong, you're weightless, bro. You're weightless. But the burden is light, okay? The burden is light, and it is light, okay? So you see this, and you're like, okay. You make a plan where you're like, all right. So this is my plan. This is my advice to people that are getting hit with spell work, okay? If you're getting hit with spell work, you're getting hexed, you're getting all this done to you, okay? Dedicate yourself to reading the Bible at least like half an hour a day, okay? Maybe even a half hour in the morning, a half hour at night, and an hour total. Even if it's a half hour, 20 minutes, open up Psalms, bro. Psalms are short. The Psalms, they're not that long, bro. There's protection prayers in there. Look up there's protection prayers. There's things in there from David, from this, that are very effective. You read Proverbs too. Proverbs has that wisdom where you're like, it's gold, bro. It's gold. You're good. But it's like, you know what? You also have to see it as though, think about your hedge like you're building spiritual cash too. That's something that I always saw was like, okay, like, what am I earning from this? Well, it's almost like you got this spiritual cash you can spend as a hedge. It's very strange, okay? Kind of. But what I saw most effective here was doing as much book work that I possibly could. And dude, there was weeks, months, I mean, I'm talking dang near years, like 3 years, okay, where I would build a hedge and I'd go to sleep, and I would wake up and it was all full. I had to go and read the Bible again. I took a trip to the cemetery. I did this just because they wouldn't stop doing it. Just because they wouldn't stop doing it. Had nothing against them. Possessions, bro. People have possessions and they will not like you, bro. Look at Revelations. Look at what happened to Jesus. They killed that man. He's a perfect man. God's son. Crucified him. You got to see that and go, people, when you convert like that, people around you, they don't like it. But you're not living for them, bro. You're living for God and you're living for you. So you're trying to live your life in Jesus Christ and live. They've already crucified you. Back off. Like, you've already gone through this and converted and given up your flesh. Back off. Like, like, the thing is modern times, they ain't got no respect for it. I think that there was a certain point in humanity where people saw like the church is necessary, bro. Like this is necessary. Like there's a level of respect there where you're like, well, yeah, there's people way out in the dark on the other side, upside down. But you like, bro, hold on a second, okay? Modern times, nobody has anybody, no respect for nobody. Nobody has respect for nobody. I've noticed this throughout my life, okay? And you look at, I'm sure it was when my dad was around in World War II era, I'm sure it was pretty much kind of the same way, where nobody had respect for somebody who had a hedge on them, or who did that spiritual work. And it's like, if you're from the light or you've converted, like you have the level of respect towards other people that do that, where you're like, you know what, he's protecting it. That's all you're doing is protecting yourself. That's it. It's not like I built a hedge and slammed in you and, oh, how good, you know, glad you got hit by it. No, stop doing it. The dark gonna hit you with it. But the other thing that a hedge is good for, okay, is you will notice that anytime you're around other people, people will try and put dark seeds in your mind. People will try and put dark seeds in your mind, bro. Imagine if, okay, say I was sitting right here, okay, and some dude walked up right now and, you know, trying to start some beef with me or something. He's trying to put a seed of fear in your mind, so you're always freaked out when you come back. People do it. This is my block. Get out of here. And it's like, bro, I'm just here smoking a cigar, just doing my thing. Nobody ain't here messing with me right now. Nobody messes with me. This is the thing with this town. Nobody will personally pull up on me. Nobody will personally pull up on me. But they sent me stuff. I got stuff sent from the dark web. I got stuff sent. There was years that I spent here, okay, where people sent nightmares to me that I had to wake up at 3 in the morning despite having a hedge that they would load it and then hit me with a nightmare just so it would affect me. So I had to wake up and I had 2 hours of sleep, off doing breaks, off door dashing, off 2 hours of sleep because these mofos wouldn't stop doing it. They wouldn't stop. I don't know, bro. I could not tell you why. The thing is there was people around them that probably couldn't, if they knew the situation, they couldn't tell you why either. They was looking at it like they just dark and screwed up. And it's like, well, why are you attacking me? Because you got the light on you. They done trying to crucify you. Think about how they attack Jesus all the time. This stuff is wild, bro. It's wild out here where it's like, if there was one thing I could ask of the world, which I probably won't ever get, is just leave me alone. That's it. Just leave me alone. I've seen people actually, when I built a hedge, that they're demonic, they've become possessed by their own darkness, their own sin, just to do it. People that probably haven't even ever done it before. Looked up witchcraft, cast a mimic, and it's like got sent back to you at the hedge of John at the speed of light and took a piece of your face. What you doing? You crazy. Like, I don't understand witchcraft. And there's some people that would tell you that, oh, you know, witchcraft is people with white magic. I don't like you if you white magic either. Stop shitting snow on me, bro. I don't like it. I don't like it. Black magic, white magic, voodoo, I don't like it, bro. If you hit me with it, it will hit you back. I will promise you that. That my hedge, it will hit you back. If I send it back, Lord have mercy. Lord have mercy, bro. I'm one of those dudes. I don't mess around. I'm even suspecting that in my walk, if this went somewhere and it got, you know, bigger and it got traction, that there'd be people that do witchcraft that see it and they're like, you know what, I'm going to hit him with something. After I already done told you what's going to happen. You still do it. I don't know, bro. I don't know. All I can tell you is how to protect yourself. How to protect yourself is to lean on God. Jesus is the ultimate protector, bro. Like, you can't. Here's the thing that I didn't understand. I built hedges. People know I'm a Christian here, okay? People also know I'm a Native American. So it's I run with a drop of blood here, bro. What I mean by that, I got a drop of blood in me, Cherokee, Oklahoma, bro. That ain't messing around. But I'm building the hedges with the story of the Son of God. Hold on. I'm building a hedge, hedges upon hedges, with about the story of the Son of God. And you still done doing it like that. People are that foolish. People are that foolish. Well, I saw it all here, bro. I saw it all here, and I was like, this is where everything started for me, where I'm like, okay, I'm 37 years old. For the first part of my life, I didn't have much witchcraft done on me because somebody done cursed me and sealed my... It's a long story, bro. It took me a long time. But I noticed that once you are converting from your flesh to the spirit and walking with Jesus, you will get hit with everything in the kitchen sink, bro. They will throw everything at you. Why? Because you're holding up a lamp to all the demons and goblins around you that are attached to people, bro. The dark seeds, the demons, the mimic, all the spell work on everybody else. I had people that I was around when I converted and built a hedge. I shook hands with somebody and all their spell work was in my hedge. I stay away from everybody, bro. And I can't where I'm at right now. So I'm being tortured where I'm at right now. I just know it's like, well, what's good about the torture? I learned something. I learned something about the book of John, that's for sure. I learned something. Here's the thing, too, is if you want to build an effective hedge that is about the story of Jesus Christ, read Mark. Mark is shorter. Mark is shorter than Luke, John, and Matthew. It's shorter, so it doesn't take you that much time. It's not that strong of a... I've noticed the hedge isn't as strong. There's certain qualities to it that are interesting. But it's one of those that if you don't got the time on you or you want to read... You will learn different things about Jesus' life and his ministry if you read all 4 books. You'll look at certain things and go, huh, that wasn't in there or there, because somebody who wrote that book saw something and experienced something about Jesus' ministry and life that those other people didn't experience. You'll see. Just read them over and over and you will see. When you see that, you go, okay, I know this, this, and this, and it starts to wake you up a little more where you're like, hold on a second, like, especially when you're in combat. When you convert, you're going to have combat. I'm telling you right now, when you convert, you're going to have combat. One thing I did notice is when I converted and after a while, I picked up Hedges and started, really running with my ministry. I noticed Jezebel was everywhere around me. Like, they all hated me. People had, these people with the spirit of Jezebel on them, they had these, like, reactions to me just being around. Like, they wanted me to die. They don't even know who I am. I could be dangerous. It's really weird. But there was a certain point in my walk when I was tested too, okay? And I was tested. I call this this goes for men. This may go for women too, but men or women may see somebody of the opposite sex as ultimately desirable in the eyes of lust, okay? I call it the Innominable Snow Woman level 10, okay? Where I ran into somebody and I was like, just don't look. Just don't look. Don't look. And once I passed that test, this was very odd, okay? Once I passed that test, I felt like every single Jezebel in town came around me. And some people would be like, oh yeah, cool, all these things. It's like, no, they got demons on them. They want you to die, bro. They support you getting crucified and you dying. They want you to die. I went through that where I was like, okay, I'm surrounded by Jezebels right now at the mall. Nobody liked me. They all looking at me grimacing like, get out of here, you and your lamp. And it's like, well, dude, like, if I don't, what are you gonna do? Try and eat me alive? Like, I'm just trying to protect myself and you bloodthirsty. People accept those spirits onto them, by the way, which is stupid. There's people that accept the spirit of Jezebel just to get the opposite gender to kind of bow to them. And it's like, oh, hell no. No, God first, bro. I bow to God. The only person I bow to is Jesus. That's it. You can't get... I'd rather die than bow to somebody else. You got me messed up, bro. God only, bro. God only. Jesus only. Other than that, I'm not bowing to nobody. Get out of here. You can hit me with as much witchcraft, black magic as you want. I'll send it right back to you, or I'll let the Lord deal with you. And here's the thing that's weird, is when these people do this to you, there's a divine judgment for it. A lot more of a divine judgment than if they did it to their best friend and did some sleep spell over them. There's still divine judgment for that. But you directly attack somebody, one of God's people. What the heck is you doing? You got to be out of your mind. That's what that spirit of Jezebel is. Out their mind. Out your mind. You can see it in their face, their eyes, their eyebrows. You can see it on people. And for me, I done looked at it and was like, I was surrounded, bro. Like, I'm just being serious. Just the way people looked at me, it was just the hedge and the spirit of God on me. I had Jesus on me, bro. People didn't like that. But the thing is, it's like, well, my thing was, it's like, okay, well, you already ruined my life. Like, I'm not talking to women in general, but I'm talking to people with Leviathan on them. Anybody. People from the dark in my circle from when I came up until 37 years old. They ruined my life. Took my career. Kids, cars, money, everything. My whole life. And it's like, well, God also tells you, give up your life and you'll find it through Jesus Christ. Well, I sure did, but I also was pretty dang resentful that you all took it. Why wouldn't I have a hedge up, bruh? Why wouldn't I have a hedge up? So it's like, we took your life from you, but stop doing that. And it's like, well, what do you want me to do? Because what I was doing before, you obviously didn't like that either. It's one of those things, bro. You're like, I had certain things that happened to me too, where I would do a video and I would notice that the devil would send somebody from the dark around me just to be in my proximity to try and make me uncomfortable. That was when I was like, what do you... Almost like they had no control over it. Dude, just walk over here and light up a cigarette. He's standing right next to my car. And I'm like, there's like miles of places you could sit and smoke your cigarette. Like, but they would sit there and just stare at me. I had people that were way possessed. When I was living back in Portland, I had one that was really weird, okay? This dude did witchcraft too. Dude was like pinned out, walking around my house. Can I have a cigarette? And just like walking around, like just tripping out. And I don't care. Like, if I was smoking, I would give you a cigarette. I don't care. But the dude just like, you could see a possession on him where he did not, like, almost like my hedge and my light could be viewed from miles away, that his spirit was just drawn to it. Like, he just had to just be there to try and drop a dark seed in me. The devil works through people. If people even have a little bit of darkness on them, okay? If there's somebody that has converted, okay? And they go and they drink a bunch of whiskey, okay? And when you do that, you can tell your arms, like you're still in the light, but you're like touching the dark, bro. Like, the devil can work through you if you have a little bit of dark in you. If you have a little bit of dark seed in you, that is anger or this and that, the devil can work through you. I was a completely nice guy, and I remember times I done flipped, where I was like, what the hell was that? I didn't even have control over myself. The devil will work through you if your vessel is not pure. That's what's so important about hedges, bro. Hedges and refusing to sin and the consequences of that. That's what I got for you today. Peace out, bro.